Hello everyone. The 1980s was the decade of decadence. The decade was the peak of the term sex, drugs, and rock and roll. No band would represent that term better than Motley Crue when it came to the music world of the 80s. Motley Crue are a glam metal, heavy metal, and hard rock band. Throughout their career, they have also dabbled in punk, glam punk, arena rock, grunge, alternative metal, and industrial rock. The last four genres that they dabbled in were from the 1990s, and the band would go through an identity crisis during that time, as most bands that peaked in the 80s would, but I digress. Their influences include the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the Yardbirds, Derek and the Dominos, Wings, Mike Bloomfield, Terry Bozzio, the Jimi Hendrix Experience, Cream, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, Deep Purple, Queen, Blue Oyster Cult, Kiss, Alice Cooper, Aerosmith, AC/DC, Judas Priest, Van Halen, Accept, Scorpions, Ozzy Osbourne, Dio, Sammy Hagar, Ted Nugent, Black Oak, Arkansas, Bad Company, Sly and the Family Stone, Cheap Trick, Slade, Sweet, David Bowie, Harry Nilsson, Elton John, New York Dolls, Sex Pistols, T-Rex, Mott the Hoopla, and Brownsville Station. Motley Crue would create the genre known as glam metal and spearhead it alongside bands such as Twisted Sister, Wasp, Quiet Riot, Guns N' Roses, Rat, Hanoi Rocks, Night Ranger, Bon Jovi, Dokken, Poison, Skid Row, Cinderella, and Warrant throughout the 80s. All this would make glam metal the most popular metal genre of the 80s. Motley Crue was formed on January 17, 1981 in Hollywood, California, US. The band was originally formed by bassist Nikki Sixx and drummer Tommy Lee. Guitarist Mick Mars and vocalist Vince Neil would later join the band in the following months after the band was initially formed. The band would cut their teeth in the Sunset Strip at clubs such as a Whiskey A Go Go, the Roxy, Rainbow Bar and Grill. The Sunset Strip would also be the epicenter of the glam metal movement. On November 10, 1981, the band would release their debut album titled Too Fast for Love on their own label, Leather Records, with their first edition of 900 copies of it. The following year, the band would be signed by Elektra Records. Elektra Records would have their debut album Remix partially re-recorded and re-released on August 20th, 1982. Despite all this, the band didn't break into the mainstream on their debut, but things would soon change for the better. On September 23rd, 1983, the band would release their sophomore album titled Shout Out the Devil. This album was a breakthrough success and helped propel them to the mainstream. The album managed to debut at number 17 on the Billboard 200. It even helped the sales on their debut album, which made it debut at number 77 on the Billboard 200. In 1984, following their breakthrough album, the band would open for Ozzy Osbourne on his Bark at the Moon tour and would take part in Monsters of Rock Festival in support of headliners AC/DC and Van Halen. On June 24, 1985, the band would release their third album titled Theater of Pain. This album will be a bigger success compared to their last one by debuting at number 6 on the Billboard 200. On May 15th, 1987, the band will release their fourth album titled Girls, Girls, Girls. This album would be an even bigger success compared to their last, by debuting at number 2 on the Billboard 200. On September 1st, 1989, the band would release their fifth album titled Dr. Feelgood. This album would give the band its critical and commercial peak by debuting at number 1 on the Billboard 200. Well guys, this is a moment in which I will stop chronicling their history, because after the 1980s, the quality of their music that they put out would never be the same. The band was at their all-time creative peak during the 80s. Everything outside of the 80s is a mixed bag, and I would rather talk about them when they were at their best. Out of all the glam metal bands, Motley Crue were one of the best, and in my opinion, the best. Not only did they write great songs, they also had an edge and a sleaze to them, unlike most of their imitators. Above all else, though, they were just a fun band to listen to. Well, that's all I have to say about Motley Crue. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you like this video and want more like it, then subscribe to my channel, like and share this video. I'm Vaughn Wesley, and have a good one.